Hello everyone, this is Vamshi Janupali. In the last lecture, we clearly understood the meaning of capital asset and the meaning of transfer. Today, we start with our lecture with a simple example. That is, Mr. A is the owner of building. Mr. A is the owner of building. I entered into the transaction with Mr. B for selling this building for a sum of rupees 50 lakhs. Now, whatever the profits and gains that is arising out of the transaction, whether these chargeable under the head capital gains or not. To determine that, we need to understand first whether the asset involving in the transaction is a capital asset and the whatever the transaction that is happening between Mr. A and B fall into the definition of transfer or not. If you conclude that the asset is a capital asset and the transaction is a transfer, then you can say that whatever the profits and gains arising out of the transaction shall be chargeable under the head capital gains. Now, building fall into the definition of section 2, subsection 14. We read this in the last class. Also, Mr. A agreed to transfer the building and receive consideration of rupees 50 lakhs. It is a simple transaction of sale. Now we yesterday understood that sale fall into the definition of transfer under section 247. Now we determined that the profits and gains arising to Mr. A out of this transaction chargeable to tax under the head capital gains. Now before charging the tax on the capital gains, we need to determine the nature of capital asset. Nature of capital asset. Now, what is the nature of capital asset, sir? Nature of capital asset has been divided into two things. One is long-term capital asset and one is short-term capital asset. The meaning of long-term capital asset has been given under 2 subsection 29A. 2 subsection 29A. Now, the meaning of short-term capital asset has been given under 2 subsection 42A. Now, what is the meaning of long-term capital asset? First, we understand that as per section 2 subsection 29A, the meaning of long-term capital asset as follows. Long-term capital asset is a capital asset other than short-term capital asset. What is the meaning of long-term capital asset? Long-term capital asset is a capital asset other than short-term capital asset. Now, what is the meaning of short-term capital asset? What is the meaning of short-term capital asset? Short-term capital asset is a capital asset if the period of holding of such asset is not more than 36 months. Short-term capital asset is a capital asset if period of holding is not more than 36 months. Now, what is the period of holding? We understand simply. We detailedly understand what is the meaning of period of holding. But for the time being, you understand that period of holding is start from the date of acquisition of capital asset and ends on the date of transfer. For example, Mr. A acquired capital asset as on 1st May 2014 and sold this asset on 31st March 2017. The period of holding starts from 1st May 2014 and ends on 30th May 2017. He sold asset on 31st, so the period of holding ends on one day before, that is 30th May 2017. Now you understand what is the meaning of period of holding. Now short-term capital asset means short-term capital asset is a asset if the period of holding is not more than 36 months. Right? Now we understand some of the exceptions to section 2 subsection 42A. What we understand generally, short-term capital asset is a capital asset if it is held for less than 36 months. No, there are some assets. If the period of holding is less than 12 months, it is treated as short-term capital assets, generally 36 months. But following are the assets, if the period of holding is less than 12 months, these are treated as short-term capital asset. What are those? First one is any security other than units listed on recognized stock exchange. We understand clearly what is it means. First, we list out the assets. Now, second one is units of Unit Trust of India. Third one is units of equity oriented mutual fund. And fourth one is zero coupon bonds. Zero coupon bonds. Now, these are the four assets. If the period of holding, is less than 12 months, these are treated as short-term capital asset. Now, first we understand what is the meaning of security. What is the meaning of security? Income Tax Act 1961 has not defined what is the meaning of security. But it is said that whatever the meaning assigned to security under the Act, Securities Contract Regulation Act, the same meaning shall be covered under this subsection. Now, what is the meaning of security as per Securities Contract Regulation Act? As per Security Regulation Contract Act (SCARA), the meaning of security includes the meaning of security includes shares, includes whether it is equity or preference shares. Second one, debentures, bonds. Now, what are the security? Derivatives, deposit certificates, deposit certificates, and etc. Which means, as per Securities Contract Regulation Act, securities means shares, debentures, bonds. For the time being, you understand these three. These are relevant for us. No, shares, debentures, bonds. Any of the security that are listed on recognized stock exchange, if these are held, for a period of less than 12 months, these are treated as short-term capital asset. Now you focus on one thing. Here, something is excluded from the definition, that is other than units. What is the meaning of units? Generally, companies issue shares. In the similar way, mutual funds issues units. How mutual fund works? For example, mutual fund A. Now, at the starting of mutual fund, what mutual fund do? It accumulates funds from individuals, right, and invest into various listed companies. Okay. Now, in consideration of money paid to mutual fund, what mutual fund say issue? Mutual fund issue units. Understood, right? Now, whatever the units issued by the mutual fund shall not be covered under the first point. Now, any security other than units listed on recognized stock exchange. Securities means equity shares, preference shares, debentures, bonds, whatever issued by the companies that are listed on recognized stock exchange. If these are held for a period of less than 12 months, these are treated as short-term capital asset. Now, what is the second one? Units issued by Unit Trust of India. These are also, if the period of holding is less than 12 months, these are treated as short-term capital asset. Then third one, units of equity-oriented mutual fund. We understand the meaning of equity-oriented mutual fund, but for the time being, units of equity-oriented mutual funds, if these are held for a period of less than 12 months, these are treated as short-term capital asset. You understand one thing here. Units have been excluded from point one. Means units को छोड़ दो. Other than that, whatever the security that have been listed on recognized stock exchange, for that purpose, 12 months is the time consideration. But here, units of equity oriented mutual funds have been included and units of Unit Trust of India also included. Which means if these securities are trading on recognized stock exchange, the time period should be considered is 12 months. And the fourth one is zero coupon bonds. Now we understand what is the meaning of equity oriented mutual fund. Equity oriented mutual fund. What is the meaning of equity oriented mutual fund? For example, Reliance Mutual Fund. Reliance Mutual Fund accumulated from various individuals. Now, a mutual fund to be called as equity oriented mutual funds. For example, total sum collected out of the individuals is rupees 1 lakh for the time being. If this mutual fund invest equity shares of Indian companies, listed on recognized stock exchange. See, Reliance Mutual Fund has collected sum from the various individuals of 1 lakh rupees. If this mutual fund to be called as equity oriented mutual fund, at least 65% of the sum collected, at least 60% of the sum collected shall be invested into equity shares of Indian companies that are listed on recognized stock exchange, which means at least rupees 65,000 to be invested into equity shares. Then it is called as equity oriented mutual fund. For example, rupees 50,000 invested, not 60,000, not 65,000. Then it shall not be treated as equity oriented mutual fund. Then point two, same Reliance Mutual Fund A, sorry, Reliance Mutual Fund 1 and Reliance Mutual Fund 2. 2 is already existing one. This one is new. Similarly, Reliance Mutual Fund collected funds from various individuals of rupees 1 lakh, for example. Now, equity shares of Indian companies listed on recognized stock exchange. Now, Reliance Mutual Funds, instead of directly investing into equity shares of Indian companies, what Reliance Mutual Fund do is Reliance Mutual Fund invest into existing mutual fund, whatever the mutual funds, any existing mutual fund, and the mutual fund invest into equity shares. Understand? Now, a mutual fund to be called as equity mutual fund when it is investing indirectly, at least 90% of the fund shall be invested into other fund and at least 90% of the sum collected shall be invested into equity shares. For example, Reliance Mutual Fund 2 collected 1 lakh rupees from one, understood, and 50,000 from other people. Total sum collected is 1,50,000 rupees. Now, Reliance Mutual Fund has to invest at least 90,000, right? At least 90,000. At least 90,000. And Reliance Mutual Fund 2 has to invest at least 1,35,000 rupees. Which means, in the second case, when mutual fund investing into other mutual fund, the other mutual fund shall invest at least 90% of the sum accrued into the equity shares of Indian companies that have been listed in recognized stock exchange. Two conditions. First mutual fund shall be invested into 90% and other one also invest into equity shares of 90%. In the if when the mutual fund directly invests, the percentage is 65%. When it goes indirectly, the percentage is 90%, and the other fund should also invest at least 90% of the shares. Now you understood what is the meaning of equity oriented mutual fund. Now we quickly revise whatever we discussed. What is the nature of capital asset? Nature of capital is of two types. One is long-term capital asset, one is short-term capital. First, we discuss what is long-term capital asset. Long-term capital asset, the meaning has been given under to subsection 29A, which says any capital asset other than short-term capital asset is a long-term capital asset. Then what is the short-term capital asset? We understood and trying to understand the meaning of short-term capital asset that has been given under to subsection 42A. And 2 subsection 42A says that if the period of holding of the capital asset is not more than 36 months, it is treated as short-term capital asset. However, there are some exceptions. If the following capital assets held for not more than 12 months, these are treated as short-term capital asset. First one we understood is any security other than units listed and recognized stock exchange. Second one, units of Unit Trust of India, units of equity oriented mutual fund, and fourth one is zero coupon bonds. Now, second exception. Following are the assets. Second exception. Following are the assets if the period of holding is not more than 24 months. First, generally is 36 months. We discussed 12 months class and now we are discussing 24 months class. If the period of holding is not more than 24 months, these are treated as short-term capital assets. First one is unlisted shares of the company. Unlisted shares of the company. And second one is immovable property. Immovable property. That's it about the short-term capital asset. We quickly summarize whatever we discussed under short term capital asset to subsection 42A. First one, not more than 12 months, 24 months, and 36 months. First one, any security other than units, right? Other than units listed on recognized stock exchange. Listed on recognized stock exchange. Second one, units of unit trust of India. Third one is units of equity oriented mutual fund. And fourth one is zero coupon bonds. These are the assets. If the period of holding is not more than 12 months, these are treated as short term capital asset. Then 24 months. First one is unlisted shares. Unlisted shares of the company. Unlisted shares. If these are listed, covered under this. These are unlisted, because of that these fall into the clause of 24 months. If these are listed, these will be covered under the definition of covered under point 1. Second one is immovable property. Immovable property includes land and building apparent thereto. Land and building. If the which means land and building, if these are held for not more than 24 months, these are treated as short term capital asset. 36 months mean any other capital asset. Understood this? Now we determined the nature of capital asset. Now we try to some of the cases for determining period of holding. We understood simply period of holding means the period starts from date of acquisition to date of transfer. This period we understood as period of holding. Now there are some cases we need to understand in detail to determine period of holding, and these cases are given under explanation to subsection 42A. Now what are the cases? First one, where shares held under liquidation. Where shares are held under liquidation. What happened? Mr. A acquired the shares of Reliance on 1st May 2015. Now, Reliance is undergoing into liquidation as on 30th September 2019. Now, what is the period of holding? In this case, period of holding starts from 1st May, that is date of acquisition, and the period of holding ends on the date of liquidation. On the date of liquidation, which means the period after 30th September shall not be considered for period of holding. Understood, right? In the case of liquidation, the period of holding starts from date of acquisition and ends as on the date of liquidation. In the case of liquidation, what the company do? Liquidation में क्या करता है company Reliance will take over its shares and pays the consideration to the shareholders. Yes or not? Now, for determining the capital gains in the hands of shareholder, that period of holding shall be this one. Second case. Where asset acquired by way of gift. Understood this? By way of gift. For example, Mr. A is the owner of building. Now Mr. A is gifting this building to Mr. B. Mr. A acquired this building as on 1/1/2004. Okay. On 1st October 2017, on 1st October 2017, Mr. A is giving gift of this building, which means free of cost. Now, Mr. B is selling this building on 31st January 2019 to Mr. C. Now, what is the period of holding? Period of holding. We know period of holding starts from date of acquisition to date of transfer. In this case, date of transfer is 31st January and the date of acquisition is 1st October 2017. This is period of holding, right? But not. You need to include the period of holding of Mr. A also when you receive the capital asset in the form of gift, which means when you receive a capital asset in the form of gift or without any consideration, the period of holding of previous owner shall also be considered. In this case, period of holding starts from 1st January 2004 to 30th January 2019. Understood? Clear? Okay. Then point 3. Point 3. Inventory converted into capital asset. Inventory capital asset. For example, Mr. A is a real estate business. Is a real estate business. Okay. He has a plot of land in the form of stock in trade. Now, this stock has been acquired on 1st January 2000. Now, Mr. B is closing his business and whatever the plot is in the form of stock in trade, he is converting into capital asset, which means he is just shutting down his business and whatever the plot becomes his capital asset. He is shutting his business on 1st October 2015 and the plot has been sold on 31st December 2019. Now tell me the period of holding. Actually, the asset acquired on 1st January 2000, but this is in the form of stock in trade of real estate business. On 1st January 2015, Mr. A shut down his business and the stock in trade has converted into capital asset. Understood? And the capital asset sold on 31st January 2019. In this case, the period of holding starts from the date of conversion of capital asset, which means period of holding starts from 1st January 2015 to 30th January 2019. Now, the capital asset before its conversion, it is in the form of stock in trade, shall not be considered in computation of period of holding. Understood this? Next, point 4. Point 4. Now, we understand with a simple example. ABC Limited, DEF Limited. Mr. A having shares, 100 shares of ABC Limited. Now, ABC Limited. Now, what happened? ABC Limited and DF Limited is in the scheme of amalgamation. ABC Limited is converting into DF Limited in the scheme of amalgamation. Right? Now, whatever the shares of ABC Limited holding Mr. A, what will happen? Mr. DF Limited will take over the shares of ABC Limited and issue the shares of DF Limited. DF Limited. Understood this? Mr. A is holding 100 shares of ABC Limited. Now ABC Limited and DF Limited is in the process of amalgamation. That is, ABC Limited is converted into DF Limited. Now what DEF Limited do? DEF Limited issues 100 fresh shares in lieu of ABC Limited, which means you need to transfer 100 shares of ABC Limited. In lieu of that, he will get 100 shares of DF Limited. Now what will happen? See, for example, Mr. A acquired original shares of ABC Limited on 1st January 2002. The scheme of amalgamation, that is, new shares have been issued on 1st October 2015. Now the shares of DEF Limited Mr. A is selling on 31st January 2018. Okay, understand? Mr. A acquired 100 shares of ABC Limited on 1st January 2002. Okay. Now DF Limited issued new shares on 1st October 2015, and whatever the shares issued from DF Limited, he sold on 31st January 2018. Now, what is the period of holding in this case? What is the period of holding in this case? In this case, DF Limited he is sharing, right? Selling DF Limited. He acquired the shares of DF Limited on 1st October 2015, and the date of transfer is 30 January 2018. Is this correct? No. The period of holding includes the previous shares he held in ABC Limited. That is, the period of holding actually starts from 1st January 2002 to 30 January 2018. The point 4 is where shares in amalgamated company becomes the property of the assessee in lieu of shares of amalgamating company, then period of holding includes the period of holding of shares of amalgamating company. In this case, amalgamating company is A Limited, ABC Limited, and DEF Limited is amalgamated company. Understood this point? Right. Next, point 5. Now, demerger का case. We start with a simple example again. Now, ABC Limited. Okay. Mr. A, same example, holding 100 shares of ABC Limited. Okay. He acquired this on 1st of January 2002. Now, what happened? There is a division A. There is a division A. Mr. ABC Limited is transferring this division A into a separate company. For example, ABC Limited is having three divisions. Three divisions. A in the automobile, B in the telecommunication, and C in petroleum business. For example, A Limited want to divide this A division into a separate company. Okay. Now, what separate company, separate division do? In this case, this is called demerger company, demerged company, and this is called resulting company. Understood? When demerged company want to incorporate a company by demerging its a division, the company which is floated new is called as resulting company. Now, Mr. A is holding 100 shares of demerged company ABC Limited. Now, the resulting company, now ABC Limited transfer the assets and liabilities that are belongs to division A to A Limited. Right or not? In the similar way, what A Limited will issue shares in favor of shareholders in lieu of existing shares of ABC Limited. In this case, after the demerger, what will remain in ABC Limited? BC Limited. Okay. What is the new company? A Limited means B division, C division. A division came out and separately incorporated as A Limited. Now, in lieu of 100 shares, for example, proportionately this belongs to A division. Proportionately 30 shares belongs to A division. Now, ABC Limited, sorry, A Limited take over the 30 shares of ABC Limited and issue new 30 shares. New 30 shares of A Limited. Now, what is the holding of Mr. A after this case? 70 shares of ABC Limited and 30 shares of A Limited. Understood this? Yes. Because of demerger scheme, because of demerger scheme, resulting resulting company is issuing new shares to the shareholders in lieu of shares of demerged company. Understood this? Now, what is the period of holding of the shares that have been freshly issued by the resulting company? Okay. For example, A Limited is issuing shares on 31st January 2018 and the shares issued by A Limited is selling on 31st March 2020. Now, what is the period of holding in this case? Now, he acquired the shares of A Limited as on 31st January 2018, right? And is transferring as on 30 March 2020. Is this period of holding? No. But the period of holding of original shares in demerged company also to be included, which means the period of holding starts from 1st January 2002 to 30 March 2020, which means if the shares of resulting company becomes the property of the assessee as a scheme of demerger in lieu of shares of demerged company, then period of holding of issue of fresh shares in resulting company shall also include period of holding of shares issued by the demerged company. Understood this point, right? Okay. Next, point 6. Point 6 is bonus shares. ABC Limited is there. Mr. A acquired 100 shares of ABC Limited on 1st January 2000. Now, ABC Limited is issuing 100 shares, 100 bonus shares, means without payment, 100 bonus shares on 1st January 2002. Now, these bonus shares these bonus shares is selling as on 31st January 2015. For example, what is the case, sir? Mr. A is holding 100 shares of ABC Limited, which are acquired on 1st January 2000. For that purpose, ABC Limited issues 100 new bonus shares as on 1st January 2002, and the bonus shares whichever he acquired as on 1st January 2002, he is selling on 31st January 2015. Now, what is the period of holding of bonus shares? Bonus shares. Now, bonus shares allotted on 1st January, sold on 31st January. Bonus shares allotted on 1st January and sold on 30th January 2015. This is period of holding. In case of original shares, in case of original shares, the period of holding starts from 1st January 2000, 2000 and ends on date of transfer, right? Which means period of holding of bonus shares start on the date of allotment. The bonus shares have been allotted on 1st January 2002 and these bonus shares sold on 31st January 2015. Therefore, the period of holding is 1st January to 30th January 2015. In this case, bonus shares ka period of holding has no relationship with the period of holding of original shares. That is different and this is difference. Okay, understood? Yeah. Next, point 7. Next, right shares. Clearly understand, it will be little bit complex. ABC Limited, Mr. A. Now, Mr. A is holding 100 shares at the rupees of 10 each which are acquired on 1st January 2000. Okay. Now, ABC Limited issuing 1:1 right shares. 1:1. 1:1 right shares, which means 100 right shares. 100 right shares at 10 rupees. Okay, understood. Now, Mr. A having two options here: whether to subscribe the shares, or whether to renounce the right. Renounce means, for example, we understood clearly. In the first case, Mr. A is acquiring the shares. Okay. For example, Mr. A acquiring the right shares and 100 right shares, 100 right shares allotted on allotted on 1st October 1st October 2015. Okay. After this transaction, what is the holding of Mr. A? 100 shares at 10 each acquired on 1st January 2000. Right. Next, 100 shares again at 10 rupees, that is acquired on, what is the date of allotment? 1st October 2015. The period of holding in case of original shares start on 1st January, and the period of holding in case of right shares start on the date of allotment, that is 1st October 2015. This is a simple case. In the second case, Mr. A renounces this right to Mr. B. Right share means right shares are allotted to the existing shareholders. Existing shareholders, not to outside persons. Now, Mr. B is a outside person. Now, whatever the right Mr. A is having, is just transferring his right. Is just transferring his right to Mr. B, so that Mr. B acquires 100 shares of ABC Limited. Understood this, right? What Mr. A doing is just transferring his right to acquire the shares of ABC Limited. Okay, now Mr. A announces this right at the rate of 2 rupees each per share, which means Mr. B will pay 2 rupees each into 100 rupees, 200 rupees to Mr. A for renouncing this right. Now, what is the tax treatment in case of Mr. A? Now, what happened? Mr. A Mr. A renounced his right, which means he did not acquire. He just transferred his right. Transferring of right fall into the definition of transfer. Therefore, capital gains arises. What is the full value? What is the sale consideration in this case? Sale consideration is 200 rupees. Now, cost of acquisition is what? Cost of acquisition is nil, which means 200. Okay. What is the tax treatment of in case of Mr. B? The cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition is 100 shares at the rate of 10,000 rupees. Right. Next, purchase of renouncement, which is 200 paid to Mr. A, which means cost of acquisition of shares of 100 shares in the hands of Mr. B is 1200. Now, it is the capital gain in the hands of Mr. A, right? Now, whether it is short-term capital asset or long-term capital asset. In this case, the period of holding starts from the date of offer. The date of offer to date of renouncement. Date of renouncement. For example, ABC Limited has made on 1st September 2015 offer of right shares, and it is allotted shares on 1st October. 1st September 2015 को ऑफर किया था राइट शेयर्स इश्यू करने के लिए, एंड on 1st October 2015 it is allotted the right shares to the persons who executed their rights. Now, In case Mr. A acquires the shares, the period of holding starts from the date of allotment of right shares. In this case, point 2, Mr. A renounced the right. He has transferred the right of acquiring the right shares to Mr. B. In this case, whatever the consideration that has been received by Mr. A from Mr. B for renouncing the rights fall into the definition of transfer. Therefore, chargeable under that capital gains, right? Now, 200 shall be taxable in the hands of Mr. A. Now, in determining whether it is short-term capital asset or not, the period of holding starts from the date of offer of right shares and the date of renouncement. For example, Mr. A renounced the right on 1st October 2015. What is the date of offer, sir, in this case? September 2015. And what is the date of renouncement? Is 1st October 2015. Therefore, it is treated as short-term capital asset. We quickly summarize this. Right shares. Point 1 is subscription and renouncement. In case if we subscribe, period of holding shall be start from date of allotment of right shares. Yes or no? In this case, capital gains arises to Mr. A and renouncement. Right? Now, the period of holding of this capital asset start from date of offer to date of renouncement. Clear? This is all about right shares. Next, point 7 complete. No? Next, point 8. Conversion of preference shares into equity shares. For example, ABC Limited, Mr. A acquired on 1st January 2013 100 preference shares, convertible preference shares, in each, and 1st October 2014, the preference shares converted into equity shares. 100 preference shares converted into 100 equity shares. Equity shares at the rate of face value of rupees 10 rupees. Now these 100 equity shares sold on 1st November 2015. Now what is the period of holding in this case? Is period of holding start from original preferences, that is 1st January 2013 till 31st October 2015. Get this? When the preference shares are converted into equity shares, right? The period of holding of equity shares is also includes the period of holding of preference shares, which were originally acquired and converted into equity preference shares, equity shares. Okay, understood, right? Now, next point 9. Sweat equity shares allotted. Sweat equity shares. What is the sweat equity shares? Sweat equity shares issued by the companies to its employees in reward of service, right? Okay. Now whatever the shares issued in the form of sweat equity shares, the period of holding starts from the date of allotment, the date of allotment and till date of transfer. Understood? Date of allotment से start होना है इसका period of holding sweat equity shares का. Then point 10. Now, point in is when shares acquired by non-resident in lieu of depository receipts. We understand clearly what is this transaction and what is the period of holding in this case. Now, Mr. A is a resident of USA, want to acquire the shares of Tata Limited, which is which is listed on Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay. Now, can Mr. A directly come and acquire the shares through Bombay Stock Exchange? The answer is no, he can't do so. Now, what Mr. A can do? Mr. A can do this thing. Mr. A can request Tata Limited to issue shares to domestic to issue depository receipts. Now, what is the depository receipts? The process of depository receipts as follows. Tata Limited issue shares in the name of domestic custodian, and domestic custodian hold these shares and intimate its foreign depository to issue depository receipts in lieu of shares which are issued by the Tata Limited. Understood? Depository receipts issued to Mr. A in lieu of shares which are issued in the name of domestic custodian, which means this depository receipts reflect the shares that are issued by Tata Limited to domestic custodian. Now, what happened? In this case, Tata Limited issued shares as on 1st December 2014, and domestic custodian intimated foreign depository, and foreign depository issued depository receipts as on 1st January 2015 to Mr. A. This is one process. Now, Mr. B want to cancel the depository receipts and acquire the shares to sell the shares. Right? Now, Mr. A can do with the depository receipts as follows. Now, Mr. A request foreign depository. Mr. A request foreign depository to convert the depository receipts into shares. Now, foreign depository request domestic custodian to issue the shares to free the shares which are in the name of domestic custodian in the name of Mr. A. Understood this? Now, foreign depository requested domestic custodian as on 1st October 2015 to free up the shares that have been issued in the name of domestic shares, which means domestic custodian now transfer these shares in the name of Mr. A and cancels these depository receipts. Now, after request made, Mr. A is not anymore the holder of repository receipts, but he is the holder of shares. Now, Mr. A is transferring these shares as on 31st October 2015. This is one transaction. Okay. First, Mr. A acquired the depository receipts out of the shares issued by the Tata Limited in the name of custodian. Now, what Mr. A want to do? Mr. A want to cancel the depository receipts and acquire the shares of Tata Limited. Can you do so? Yes. He requested the foreign depository. In turn, foreign depository request the domestic custodian to free up the shares in proportion to the depository receipts and transfer these shares in the name of the Mr. A. Now, what is the period of holding of the shares that are acquired in lieu of the depository receipts is the question now. Now see, depository receipts, we understand some dates here. Period of holding. What is the date of acquisition of depository receipts by Mr. A? Date of acquisition of depository receipts is 1st January 2015. Now he made request to cancel these depository receipts and convert into the shares as on 1st October 2015. Now, okay. Now, custodian issued shares. Custodian issued shares in lieu of depository receipts on 7th October 2015, and date of sale of shares is 31st October 2015. Now tell me, period of holding of the shares. I want to know period of holding of the shares. Request for shares, right? Request for shares made on 1st October. These shares actually issued on 7th October, and these shares sold on 31st October. No doubt, the date of transfer is 30 October, which means the period of holding ends as on 30 October, sorry, 30 October 2015. Now, what is the date of commencement of the period of holding? Is this date of acquisition of depository receipts or request made for conversion into equity shares or issue of shares or the okay issue of shares? You need to consider date of request for conversion into shares, which is 1st October 2015, which means now where equity shares of company becomes the property of the assessee by way of conversion of depository receipts, the period of holding shall be reckoned from the date of request made to the custodian for conversion of shares and ends on the date of transfer. Okay, understood this? With this, we completed nature of determination of nature of capital asset, that is section 2 subsection 29a and 2 subsection 42a, that is point 3. Now you know the meaning of capital asset and you know the meaning of transfer and you also know the meaning of nature of capital asset and you are in a position to determine whether it is long term capital asset or short term capital asset. What is the meaning of long term capital asset has been given under 2 subsection 29a. A capital asset other than short term capital asset is a long term capital asset. And you know what is the meaning of short term capital? We briefly discussed 2 subsection 29a and we also understood explanations given under 2 subsection 29a. Various cases we understood very much clearly. Okay, in the next lecture we will proceed further. Thank you.